Hey guys, Kev here, and I want to do my full review on the Kershaw LiveWire. So shout out to Blade Ops for sending this my way. I really appreciate that. You can check the link in the description. That is my affiliate link to Blade Ops. If they have this in stock when this posts, it will be linked. If not, you can still check out their site for other stuff. They have automatics and all types of USA-made stuff and other stuff as well. Very interesting website. So it does support the channel if you use that link. If not, no big deal. Just want to mention it. But I'm grateful to them for sending me one because these are pretty hard to get right now. Hopefully a lot more are coming. But this, in my opinion, is the sleekest and probably best EDC OTF on the market. Just the full package together really works. And yeah, it's probably my favorite of the EDC style OTFs that I've handled. When I say EDC style, I mean slim, compact, easy to fire. That's completely relegates Microtech out of the picture, basically. Not that some of theirs aren't easy to fire, but like it's kind of hit or miss, right? And I don't like any of the other features, glass breakers and stuff like that. It just ruins the whole thing for me. So this is just really good. I did recently do a review on the Hogue Compact Compound 3.5, and I think I'm going to do a comparison video or a blade battle between these two because it's just a good comparison, I think. This one's a little more EDC-able, I think, even though this is fantastic. I think just the size and the blade shape for me are a little bit better over here. Cutting-wise, a little bit better just because it's Hogue and they do a better job with their edges. I need to get somebody to put an edge on this. This one fires a little harder. This one's easier to actuate, even though this one's fantastic to actuate. Got to be a little more deliberate. This was recently something I said was the best OTF I've handled. That was true at the time. I think this one may have surpassed it ever so slightly. I would say these are definitely neck and neck for the best OTF I've handled. I've handled a Deadlock Model C at Blade Show. It really wasn't for me. I know a lot of you guys recommend it when I do these videos. And I hear they're great, and I didn't spend much time with it, but I didn't really like the switch. And to be honest, the aesthetics are just not for me. They're too symmetrical, and the dagger thing isn't for me. This is kind of daggery, but it's not quite. And I really do like it. So I also have in the dagger knives Mermaid, but this is more of a gimmicky knife. Has this double switch system, so you can actually actuate it up here on this karambit ring or down here, but it does not have that much juice, but it's fine. And the clip is a big downfall for me. It wiggles. The screw does not sit deep enough. I had to actually swap the screw out because mine was just spinning in place and the clip came off. They had to put the clip here because of the ring, so this is a big thing for me, but we'll talk about that in that video. So the LiveWire. This is going to be quick for you guys who hate my rambling. Buy this. If you're thinking about getting one, get it. If you're looking for an OTF and you're like, you know what, I'm going to get one OTF. I want a good EDC OTF. I'd like to try something. I want it to be USA made. I don't want to spend $400. Get this. $230 retail for this thing? Stupid. I really don't have... There's not anything really comparable. You have the axial gear shift, which is a good OTF. Don't get me wrong. This feels a little bit more quality. And I really like Axial. You know, I'm an affiliate with them. I haven't had much of their stuff the past year because they just haven't had anything to send me or to kind of show. But they do have cool stuff. They're cool people, all of that. And the shift is cool. This is more unique than that is. I don't know how to explain that in a way that doesn't sound negative because I do love that product. But this is really cool. So I'm excited about it. People always wonder why is it a Kershaw at $230? Why isn't it a ZT? And my thinking to that is this fits more in the launch line than anything ZT has done. So that's one reason I would think. And two, my theory is we're going to see a ZT version of this. So kind of like how we've seen, you know, the bare knuckle and then seen like a ZT-ish version of it, I think, right? Didn't we? And the way they do that, I think, like, okay, the Kershaw Atmos, and then you had the ZTO 470, I believe, Sinkovich design, where it was kind of like the big brother, but it was premium. Just imagine this in ZT form. Imagine this with like a carbon fiber body or titanium body. You know, it'll probably be Magna cut at that point, and just some cool pieces to it. I think that's what you're going to see, and I think that's why they did this, but that's my take on it. But this alone is utterly fantastic. So aesthetically, I think it's just sexy. I think it's a very low profile, slim EDC OTF. It just does not scream daggery, stab me kind of stuff, right? The clip is interesting. It really threw me off when I first saw it. I was like, that's hideous. It works really well, and it's reversible. So I have it on the left side right now, carrying this in my front left. I have switched it over a couple times and carried it in my back left. It's easy enough to switch back and forth. It is T6s, unfortunately, but I haven't had an issue at this point. The body is titanium. It is made in the United States. It has this switch right here, and your blade does not stick out too crazy to the tip or to the front here. I mean, honestly, it's down in there pretty good. Yeah, I can see it, but it's not like, there you go. That a better angle on it right there. So it's better than most. And then when you open it, you have this sort of faux daggery kind of thing going on, but it is a clear kind of saber grind here. Flat grind, but not terrible in terms of thickness. I think it's relatively, you know, it's definitely not thin. We can measure it just to knock that bad boy out. I'm guessing 25 to 30. 23. So 23 thousandths. That's not bad for an OTF, right? And I think it's a good design. I would love to see it in a sheep's foot. I always would prefer a sheep's foot to this, but it's very spear pointy, so you can kind of use it that way. It's got a very dainty tip because it comes out to a pokey. So, you know, keep that in mind when you're doing stuff. But I've opened packages and cut all types of stuff with it and had no issue. I will say the Hogue that I have definitely has a better edge on it. And grind probably gets a little taller and thinner. But this certainly gets the job done in that sense. But yeah, I love the little accents right here. You know, it's just done really well, to be honest. It's fantastic. Ergonomics are extremely comfortable. I mean, you have a little swoop, but just fits the hand really well. You can choke up a little bit if you want to get up here closer to the edge. You can get pretty close to the edge there. And if you want to choke back like this, so you're, you know, kind of right on the switch, you can do that. Very comfortable. If you want to go into a Friday night gas station grip, you have a good thumb landing spot right here, and you can do your thing, no problem. Back off my Slurpee, bro. Speaking of billboarding, which I wasn't speaking of, but now we are, it says 9,000 Diskin, serial number 033620CV, and then it has the, what I don't understand is it says Diskin, and then it has their in-house design team logo, which looks like the Millennial Falcon. So I don't get it. Is it a Diskin design or not? Is it, I guess, a collab? I don't know. And then here you have Kershaw Auto, right? And then you can see a little bit of oil that I put on. I just take a little bit of light oil and I put it around here and here on the top and the bottom. And then I just rack it a few times and let it wear in. And then I just wipe the top off. And that seems to work really well, not having to take it apart. You don't have to spray in there and do all that shit. That kind of maintenance works really well for me. So, yeah. So ergonomics are great. Cutting, I really have had no problem with it. If you saw the unboxing, I was able to just be able to pull off S-cuts with it. It feels pretty sharp. I think once I send it out and have somebody put a good edge on it, it's going to be fantastic. It's not meant for hard use or anything like that. This is a die-hard EDC knife. This is a whip it out of the pocket, open up your package, whip it out of the pocket, cut open a bag. It's, you know, that kind of stuff, right? I've had to use it in a few scenarios in that sense where my kid asks for gummies, fruit gummies, right? She's a toddler. She loves fruit gummies. And those things sometimes are impossible to rip with your hand. I don't understand that shit sometimes. But I'll pop this out. I'll just put a slice through it and then pop it back, drop it in the pocket. I don't have to sit there and, you know, tweedle with a lock and do this and worry that, you know, while I'm doing this, my kid's going to come in here or whatever, right? Not that that's actually a concern for me, but this is a benefit of the OTF, so I want to mention it. Pop it out, cut, pop it down, stick it in your pocket. You could be on a ladder and need to, you know, trim something, boom, and you're good to go. So really, really good in that sense. So I've enjoyed the cutting. Phenomenal EDC knife. Not going to be for hard use. You're not going to pry with this. You're not going to cut through cable like an idiot. Like, right. Carry is great. This clip is fantastic. It's a little tight, but that's what I want. I want a little tight versus a little loose, right? Back pocket, front pocket have had no issue. In, out, a dream, guys. The way they angled this, it just sits in the pocket wonderfully. It really does. They put thought into that. They didn't just go, oh, it's going to go with the frame. Let's turn it this way. No, they were like, this is going to work well. And they did it that way. It's mounted at the rear for a reason. This is something... did I talk about this earlier? I can't remember. But the reason you see clips mounted at the rear on OTFs, because a lot of people are like, why the fuck does everybody do that, right? And the glass breakers are dumb. But the reason that they're mounted on the rear is because if you put them here, like, for instance, the Hogue does have it here. One of the only OTFs I've seen like that. You contend with the fact that that blade is coming in and out of there, right? So you have to avoid the blade. And somebody told me that the clip screws on the Hogue are actually what stops the blade. So if you took these out and fired it, it would, like, blow up the mechanism or something. I don't know if that's true. I'm not going to test it now that I heard that. But it makes it something, it's harder to work with because of that, right? It's easier, makes more sense to just mount it from the rear, then you don't have that problem, right? For instance, I think I mentioned the clip on this is the issue with this, and it's too thin of a handle for them to get enough of the threads into it to make it tight. So you have this clip that wiggles and wants to pop off because they can't mount it to the rear because they have this ring. So that's the downfall on that one. So anyway, this is well thought out and it's really good carry. It's lightweight. It's aluminum. It's a good carry, right? Sounds. Compare it to some others. So it's not quite as snappy as the Hogue. It's snappier than the dagger. It doesn't have any of the tingy sound. There's none of that, like, springy rattle. Like, if you've ever had a Microtech, they sound like dog shit. They really do. They sound cheap as fuck because you disengage it and it's like, ding, ring, 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 ring. And, like, you just hear the spring rattling in there and shit. Like, everything rattles. This doesn't have a rattle. I mean, yeah, if I fuck with this, it does. But, like, no rattle. rattle. This one doesn't have it either, so that's good. But nothing. Like, it's nice. I like that. It feels solid. So the sounds are good to me. It fires out, fires in. I don't know what else you want, you know. It doesn't have the shotgun effect that this does. This sometimes sounds like gangbusters going off, and I love that. I don't know if part of that is the G10, and part of it is it absolutely shotguns out of there. But it still sounds really good. Action / fidget factor. This guy is the king of the OTF action. I don't have a better way to put it. I've had a Guardian Tactical 035 and 040. While they have very smooth buttons or switches, nothing like this. This thing is the easiest OTF to fire without being an absolute bitch. Like, it's not super weak. Like, and it's definitely broken in. Because I remember when I got it, I was like, it's not that strong. And I know I was kind of comparing it to this, which is one of the stronger, springs on an OTF I've felt. Not strong to actuate, just strong, like it punches, right? But this, it does enough. Like, it is strong enough for me. And yet, it's the easiest OTF ever to actuate. I could do this all day. And that's always the issue with OTFs. You do it 5 times, and you're like, God damn, that fucking hurts. Nope. This one's just all day, no problem. So, in my opinion, humbly, this has the best action on an OTF that I've handled. And again, I've handled Microtechs, Heretics, I've handled the Dagger, I've handled Hogue, I've handled a Deadlock at Blade Show. I've handled, did I say Heretic, Microtech? I said all those. I know I'm missing something, I'm sure. Oh, Guardian Tactical, I've handled a lot of them. Cobra Tech, this Axial, I can do that all day. Nothing. Just wonderful. Seriously wonderful. It's pleasant. Never said that about an OTF, This and the Hogue have really opened my eyes to the fact that there can be good OTFs on the market. You don't just have to get an OTF because it's a cool mechanism and it's kind of cool to have one, right? Like, this is genuinely a good knife. And that makes me happy, right? I'm kind of finding a segment. It does have side to side, up, down, all that. But it's pretty minimal, honestly. You can feel it, but it feels really solid in there. Like, I don't know how to explain that better. A lot of times they feel like they feel kind of loosey-goosey. Like, you can, I don't know, move shit around real easy. Not bad, but this just feels, it feels more solid. It's less than those two, at least. And less than I remember on the Heretic. This feels like it's a good knife. Like, I'm not just saying it's a good OTF. I'm not just saying, like, oh, it's a cool toy. It's, it's cool. I'm getting into OTFs because, it's now legal here, technically, in PA. The switchblade ban has been repealed or whatever. Sorry, I'm just trying to put a little bit of... Are you going to come out? Or are you just going to... There you go. I don't know if that was too much now. Ah, God damn it, Kev. I usually put the heavier oil on the switch. I don't know if you're supposed to do that or not, but I figure it'll last longer there. And why would you need... I don't know why you would need the lighter oil. But, I don't know what the hell I was going to say. It's just a good knife, basically. It falls in line with any other knife in my collection, and it's good. It's not just a token OTF. And that's kind of how I always put it, right? I'm like, yeah, I got a token OTF. I need a token OTF. But this knife and this knife are genuinely good freaking knives. Like, I can recommend these along with all the folders I recommend, you know? So I highly recommend this Kershaw. I think for the price point, it does beat that Hogue just slightly because it's $230, not $300. They did a good job with the aluminum as well. I want to point that out. Usually the aluminum body OTFs, they kind of feel cold to the touch for me. They're not like comfortable. This has really good anodizing on it. I don't know if it's just like thicker anodizing, aka paint, Cerakote, or whatever. But it really just feels good. There's one little mark right here. I don't know if that's from me or if it came like that, but it doesn't matter. It's just easy to switch any which way you want to do it. You can do it like this, do it from the side, you know. Just the fact that I can fire it out and retract it that fast, really, just, I don't know. I like this knife a lot. I'm going to shut up now. So that's the Kershaw LiveWire. Highly recommend. Pick it up wherever you can, but if Blade Ops has it right now, link down in the description. I don't know who else. I know Blue Creek had these for a little while, so you can head over to Blue Creek as well and see if he has more. And I'm sure all the big dogs like Blade HQ and whatnot will be getting them as well. Let me know what you guys think. Have you gotten one of these yet? Are you thinking about it? I know there was a lot of debate when this was kind of announced, and I'm really happy that Kershaw announced it and then released it like a week later. I mean, that's what it felt like. Usually it's like, oh, okay, we know you're going to come out with this knife. And then we talk about it for 6 months and it finally releases, you know? This is kind of nice. And from what I've seen of their other releases, it's a lot of like Axis Lock and D2 stuff from China. Doesn't really interest me, but this is phenomenal. And I think now I remember what I was going to try to say earlier. I'm finding my niche in the American market. So I haven't been able to really dial in USA made stuff into the collection much other than CNC customs like Rosie Mini FSD, right? It's like the only one I have is the Mini FSD at this point. And I have that Schenck knife. But that's, you know, custom-y stuff. Like, I haven't been able to find that production zone, you know. A lot of people like Tactile, a lot of people like MBK, a lot of people like Hinderer, CRK, right? Medford is a big one. There's just a lot of these USA made, not McNeese, that everybody, they love, and I just can't get into that stuff. It's just none of that really does it for me. But I'm starting to find that some of these OTFs are hitting the spot. And it makes me proud to have USA-made knives. Like, I know I have a lot of Chinese knives. I review a lot of Chinese knives. I have knives made in China. But that doesn't mean that I don't want more and more USA-made stuff to be there. I want to have knives made here, right? Like, that's something I want to do, to be proud of, right? And it's nice to be able to say, you know, I have this USA-made OTF, and it's actually good. I don't just have it because it's USA-made, because that's a lot of times, honestly, what's happening. You get these, you know, people are all gung-ho about these knives, but they're not that good, you know? Sorry. But these are phenomenal. So, all right, I'm going to shut up. I love you guys. Get yourself a Kershaw LiveWire. I don't think you'll regret it. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will catch you later.